Today, I'm diving deep into the things guys totally miss about women, and I'm challenging myself to figure out what we often overlook. There are so many misconceptions and stereotypes out there that prevent us from truly understanding the women in our lives, and it's time we break free from those limiting beliefs. Miscommunication and misunderstanding are at the root of many relationship challenges between men and women. We often think we're saying one thing, but the other person hears something entirely different. We assume we know what the other person is thinking or feeling, but we're actually just projecting our own thoughts and emotions onto them. This leads to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and a whole lot of frustration. Why do we do this? Well, for one, we're wired differently. Men and women process information differently, and we have different communication styles. We're often so focused on getting our point across that we forget to truly listen to the other person. And if we do listen, we might not be hearing what they're really saying. We've all been in situations where we're trying to have a conversation, but we're not speaking the same language. We're not picking up on the other person's cues, and we're not aware of our own. We're missing out on valuable information that could help us build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Moving on, let's talk about the areas where guys often miss the mark. One of the biggest is emotional nuances. We tend to think of emotions as either happy, sad, or angry, but women experience a whole range of emotions that we might not even be aware of. We're not picking up on the subtle cues, the hints, the whispers that are telling us more about what's really going on. We're also not always aware of nonverbal cues. We're not paying attention to body language, tone of voice, or facial expressions. We're not noticing the way a woman carries herself, the way she looks at us, or the way she responds to our touch. We're missing out on a whole level of communication that could deepen our connections. And then there's the impact of social conditioning on women's behavior. We often assume that women are just naturally more nurturing or emotional, but the truth is that many of these traits are learned behaviors. We've been conditioned to be a certain way, and women have been conditioned to be a certain way too. We need to recognize that these conditioning patterns can affect how women behave, and we need to be more understanding and empathetic. Here's a crucial insight that changed my perspective on women's experiences and emotions. Women are not always asking for help because they're weak or incapable. They're asking for help because they're strong enough to admit they need it. This one realization blew my mind and completely flipped my script on how I approach relationships. When we take the time to understand these nuances, we can build stronger, more meaningful relationships with the women in our lives. We can communicate more effectively, avoid misunderstandings, and create a deeper level of connection. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have any thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about relationship dynamics, be sure to check out my other videos on the topic.